today marks the day I go over some of my Silent Hill games. Ignore Resident Evil 4. We'll get to that in a minute. So yeah, we're gonna jump right into it. So I got Silent Hill 1, and there's no like scratches or anything bad with this. This is like mint condition. Oh yeah, I got this butterfly knife. Pretty sweet. Ignore the rest of these video games. We'll get these in just a minute. Those are not Silent Hill games, mind you. So when you pop this open, I need to put my phone down. Alright, so here's the disc. Oh, be careful with it. This is a very rare game. So you get the two sides of the case. The back of the disc, this is in really good condition. Now it's been used, obviously, but there's like no significant damage done to it. It's pretty good. It works and it plays like a dream. The next game is going to be Silent Hill Downpour. So, you know, just the standard Downpour, just the standard stuff, you know, just manual and disc. It's all there. It's all in excellent condition. I mean, it's got fingerprints on it. I need to clean it. It's been forever since I've actually played Silent Hill Downpour, and I always thought it was better than Homecoming, and to be honest, both those games are not as good as the original Silent Hills. And speaking of Homecoming, we got Silent Hill Homecoming for the PS3. Yeah, these are really awesome. Definitely a really long warning label, though. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put Silent Hill 1 on top of my PS2. I'm going to keep it out of the way when I open these one-handed. So I got to record with the phone itself. So again, disc and the manual. Oh, I'm trying to be really careful so I don't get too many fingerprints on it. This one, much better condition. So that's it for the PS3 and PS1 era. Now, there's only a few. Don't mind the damn toothpick. Next is going to be the better Silent Hill games. Silent Hill 2. Where do I begin? This is one of the most influential horror games ever made. It's also very expensive and rare. In mint condition. This is worth a lot of money. Needless to say. Yeah. And it's also in the original case. Gonna be real gentle opening that. So yeah, that's how you could tell if they're original PS2 cases. I don't know what that stain is right there. Anyway. Yeah, but no, this is the OG case, and it is the disc itself here. Not the greatest of condition. Well, that's all just fingerprints. Hold on, let me wipe those off. That looks a lot better, yeah. Couple of small minor scratches. I mean, I still play this game on my PS2 Studio. This is my PS2 Studio, guys. This is where I go to escape life. It's always so messed up. Something's always going on. Something's always happening. Alright, put that down. Next up, Silent Hill 3. Now, this is actually, I think, one of the most underrated games in a series I have ever discussed. Mainly because, you know, this game is seen as one of the weaker Silent Hill games of the original 4. And I can see that mainly due to the fact that the first and second were so great. They're like on equal par. If not, the second did not surpass the first. And the first definitely is one of the greatest horror games ever made. And 4 is the most original in the series, and we'll get to that. But 3 continues the story of the first game, and 4 continues the story of the second game, not in the way you think it is, though. So yeah, let's get right into it. So here's the side. There's how you know it's our region. It is SLUS. Every PS2 disc that's region is SLUS. That's sus with an L. I mean, I'm serious. I could grab my copy of, Bully right here, and you'll see to the side says Slus. So that's how you know if it's region locked or not. So I highly advise you guys double check any PS2 games you buy from Macari, Amazon, or what do you call that site? eBay. Double check and make sure that the side says Slus, because the PS2s are one of those consoles that get region locked, and this is actually a chunk of a case to a game, like the actual the case. I don't know which game it is though. I buy a lot of used games now, but you could clearly tell this case is not cracked or broken or anything like that. The back of it is pretty cool. You can see Heather Mason right there, and the modern Konami logo. This was the OG logo right here, until they switched it to this Konami logo. It's kind of an interesting little fact for you guys. The inside of this is just as good, if not better, than the other ones. If we could get it open. I got the manual, the disc, and more importantly, the soundtrack, all in great condition. This is one of my favorite parts about buying this game, was it came with the soundtrack. Excellent. Akira Yakamada, I think his name was. I actually don't know how to pronounce his name, but I probably butchered it. He did the score for the first 3 games. I think he also did the score for Homecoming and Downpour. That guy's a legend. He makes great music, and he did a great job. I'm going to go ahead and address this elephant in the room. This is not the original case. You'll probably see that the cover art's too small to actually fit in this case, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, this is not the original case, and I bought this on Amazon. Not on Amazon, on Macari. So I did not own this game prior. I used to. This game, honestly, bro, I'm gonna say it, dude. The first person segments are kind of weird, and they don't really play properly. At least for me, it feels kind of awkward. It took me a lot of getting used to, so if you're jumping into this thinking that this is going to be the greatest graphics Silent Hill game, the greatest Silent Hill game out of the original 4, note that it's only considered the most original out of the original 4 because of its story. It actually focuses on a side character in this game known as Walter Sullivan, and that whole storyline, where there's an article and you read it and it says that Walter Sullivan murdered 2 children with an axe, and in this game it actually furthers that, and that's part of the 21 Sacraments, which is a ritual in the game, and it's part of the story to it, and it's very interesting the way they execute that. There's tons of videos on Silent Hill 4's story, and it is very story focused, and what do you call it? The second game obviously is great, but this game is really good in its storytelling format. Here's the side of the disc. Again, it's the same region, SLUS. Anything with SLUS is going to be our region. So yeah, just something to think about. The back of it, it's kind of cool. I think I already showed the back of it. Definitely really cool. He's trapped in his apartment. So it's called Silent Hill 4 The Room because you're trapped in your side of your apartment. Alright, we're going to open it. So as you can tell, it's missing the memory card thing. That's because this is not the original case. I'm going to buy just an empty PS2 case. just to put this in. It's against my will to actually do something like that, but you already see the manual. It's in great condition. The disc here. So yeah, if you guys are just getting into video game collecting and let's say you just bought a PS2, what are the games you want to play on their PS2? And you see the Silent Hill series and you're intrigued by the Silent Hill series. Well, not much. Well, actually, I'm going to rest my feet like that. That feels so much more comfortable. Yeah, this is not a series you want to start off with because, for one, each of these games are probably around $250, $280, depending on condition, and you probably gotta pay $80 for just the disc for Silent Hill 2. And same thing with the first game. If you're trying to get all of the first four, you're looking at about, and I've seen it go for about $1,000 being sold as the set of the original four on Macari and other apps for $1,000. Okay, put it this way: a PS5 market cost is about $530, I'm gonna say, plus tax. If I combine all these games and I combine these two games, let's say I sell these for $80 a piece, I just bought myself two PS5s. So, and let's say on top of that, I want to go ahead and throw in a couple of other rare games just to sort of make the mark. Let's say, here's some good examples. Let's say I do this. Let's say to sweeten the deal, I throw these in. Bully, sell this for $80. Not $80, maybe $40. I don't know. This will vary depending on whatever. My Resident Evil 4. My Manhunt in perfect condition. Probably sell that for, I'd sell this thing for $90. And my Manhunt 2. Probably sell that another $95. $95 for Manhunt. $95. No, I'll round it over and say they're about 100 a piece. $200. Then I would have bought myself some PS5 games and possibly another controller. So think about that cost for a second. And obviously you got to equate the cost of your retro TV. And the retro TV, that ain't nothing. I bought this thing for literally $13 at a Goodwill. Okay, and so literally I got this for my birthday. I think I have a stream, actually. It's my second most popular video on my channel. And it is a, what do you call that? Trying to think of the name of it. Trying to think of the name of it. What are they called? YouTube Shorts, I think is what it is. And I did a short, and I'm talking about I'm playing my Mortal Kombat Armageddon. And I'm talking about my PS2 studio and how I was really happy that I got a PS2 for my birthday. You equate the cost of that. The day on my birthday I actually got that thing, I went straight to the local thrift stores to find an old TV with the RGB cables. So you're going to have to, good luck finding that, and good luck finding controllers and memory cards. And, oh, yeah, this is a 120 megabyte memory card. I'm actually going to buy a 300 gigabyte memory card. There we go. And I mean, they still play that good. I mean, PS2 games play really good. Now, if I had my Silent Hill Origins and Shattered Memories, I think is what the one's called, the other one for the PS2, we're looking at about a solid, like, over $1,200 pretty much for my Silent Hill games. It's a good collection. I'm glad I have it. Now, as far as the PS3 stuff goes, I kind of wanted to get the HD collection, but they're literally the worst versions of Silent Hill 2 and 3. The HD collection comes with Silent Hill 2 and 3. I don't know why they didn't include the first game or the fourth game, but it only includes the first two games. If you are playing on PlayStation 4, you can actually buy those. If you're on the PS3, you can clearly, not buy it. But on PlayStation Now, which is a streaming app for games, it's like Netflix for video games, pretty much. What am I doing? Exit. There we go. So pretty much, what do you call it? PlayStation Now. It's like Netflix for video games, and one of the games you can actually get on there is Silent Hill HD Collection, which is the only way you can actually play a Silent Hill game on PS4. So no Homecoming or Downpour, but the HD Collection, no problem. They got you. Literally the worst Silent Hill thing possible. Let alone not to mention the playable trailer PT Silent Hill, or Silent Hills or whatever it was. That's gone. There's no way to actually access that. And so it really sucks because I would love to play that demo for hours and hours and hours and hours doing the exact same damn thing because it's Silent Hill related. And I just feel like the Silent Hill games just aren't really what they are now. I mean, they're not what they used to be, that's for sure. A very small series. Now, this came out after Resident Evil 3, I think, right? It came out after 2, after 3, or before 3, in between that time period, where Konami is competing with Capcom in the survival horror world, and they make the greatest survival horror game of all time, which is Silent Hill. I'd argue that anything that's better than Silent Hill probably be Resident Evil Director's Cut, and everyone's going to scream their heads off in the comment section. I only say that because that's like the godfather of survival horror, because it came out in 1996 or 5. It came out in the mid-90s. Resident Evil 2 came out in 1998. Resident Evil 3 came out in 1999, which is the year that Silent Hill came out. So it's like they already had 3 in the series, and this only got the first in the series. Soon after, we got Code Veronica and all those, Dead Aim and, Umbrella Chronicles and all those games. And so it's like definitely between the series, which is better, Resident Evil or Silent Hill. I'm going to have to argue Resident Evil because there's just more in the series. There's more to play. There's more to be had in the series as far as the collection goes. And as far as general games go, while Silent Hill is considered one of the greatest survival horror games, and Silent Hill 2 is definitely in the top 5 best PS2 games ever released, this is arguably the greatest game ever made. Resident Evil 4. I'd argue it's right there with Half-Life. So, you combine those two and BioShock. I know those are like 3 solid series or franchises. There we go. That sounds better. And then you compare Silent Hill, which is just like really, really good, but the series, the franchise is dead. Okay, that's something we have to grow up and realize. Oh, whoa. That's something we all have to kind of grow up and realize, is that Silent Hill is dead. Okay, there's nothing that we can do as fans to help. Konami is a greedy company, and there's not like Grand Theft Auto and my Manhunt series, which could be a whole video in its entirety. Really upsets me because I hate seeing good games go to waste. Okay. And so our good franchises go to waste. And it just so happens to be that Silent Hill is one of those that was promising and held up, and they kept releasing the games. I mean, they released them into the PS3 era, and they were going to release a PS4 Silent Hill game, and now they're not going to. There's rumor and speculation with PS5, but, my opinion on that is anything can happen. There could be a PlayStation 6. Finally, Silent Hill is coming to PlayStation 6. A PlayStation 6 is being released, and it gives Konami the perfect opportunity to... No. We'll see what they do. Hopefully they make another game, but until then, what I want to see them do what Grand Theft Auto did, do a definitive edition. Now, here's what Rockstar did, do a definitive edition of these 4 games. These 4. Not these 2. Nope. These 4. Only these 4 games. For 2 reasons. Reason 1, these are the best Silent Hill games possible. Best, second best, good, really good. In that order. I want to see them fix everything. I want to see, because they already had the chance to do an HD collection. And now well, why did they include the first game? Well, you can buy the first game on the PS3 PlayStation Store. If you go on your PS3, type in Silent Hill, and this will come up. It's called a PlayStation 1 Classic, and you can play all the original Resident Evil games as a digital download, but it's not the same as physical. You can pay $5 to play this game. So people are like, well, I'd rather do that than spend $250 on this game. Maybe this is worth $300 and these are all worth $250, except for the fourth, which might be worth $150. In that ballpark, plus these. And I don't think you can actually get these digitally. I think you can only get them physically. I don't think they... On the PS3, it was that time area where there were some games only released physically and only released digitally. There was not a middle ground. So it's one of those weird eras. So it's like, something we as fans have to deal with, unfortunately. And let's face it, we're not going to get we're definitely not going to end up getting the Silent Hill sequel we need to save the series. At least not until a while. We'll see. I'm not going to speak too much on it because there's probably some leaker out there or people with no lives that spend their whole days watching the Konami stuff and researching. And that's cool and all that, but I ain't got the kind of time. I got a job, and I haven't really kept up with Silent Hill ever since PS4 dropped. Mainly because I was hoping that when PT dropped, that was all I was paying attention to until that got canned. When it got canned and they made Metal Gear Solid Survivor, I think, or Survival, I realized it was it for Konami, and really they've never really released great games since. Now, I know they released Death Stranding, but that's not Silent Hill, okay? That is not Silent Hill. And so I definitely feel like there's something missing when it comes to survival horror franchises, because right now it's all Resident Evil. I mean, there's Daymare, which is great because we need those independent developers making real survival horror games again. But I remember hearing about this game called Tormented Souls on the PlayStation 5. If you guys want a Silent Hill-like experience but not Silent Hill, that's probably the best way to go about it. Play that game, and if you like it, then maybe consider getting into survival horror at large, meaning Silent Hill, Resident Evil, Siren, if you got the patience. Let's see what else. Really, you can't experience the OG Clock Tower series because the first one was released on a weird console, and they re-released the first game, and it's really the second game, and it's on the PlayStation 1, so it's like you still haven't played the original first game, so it's kind of weird. You could actually do the research on it. I'm sure more people know about it. And Rule of Rose is possibly the most expensive game of all time. Obscure is the most expensive game of all time as well. And they're very rare to find. So, when you come across a $500 game and you're like, well, yeah, I got bills to pay, gas money, and I don't know, I'm kind of saving up for a PS5, or I want to get a new $50 game, and I want to buy the $100 edition of the game and still have money to buy other stuff. Then maybe, obviously nobody's going to want to pay $500 for a damn video game. So, remember, these are very expensive games. Do not step into the ballpark without realizing that, because it's like, okay, yeah, I'll just buy a Silent Hill. It's a PS2 game. It's going to be like $8 at my, thrift store or whatever. Go in there. It's not there. Go online and you see it for like $250 and you're like, damn. So it's like, I think I've seen them rise up in price even more. I have to go double check, obviously, but I don't really look at Silent Hill prices because I have the games I want from the series now. I'm going to get Origins and Shattered Memories just to have those awful games to complete the collection. But, later on we'll talk about a more favorite series of mine, a real personal favorite and my personal vendetta against Rockstar Games. They pissed me off big time. We'll talk about that at a later date. So anyway, guys, you know, that's gonna be it. It's a 24-minute video. I'm gonna wait till it turns 25 to dip out. But there we go. All right, see you guys.